Okay, let's say you're on a Linux operating system and you decide you want to create a USB bootable operating system in Linux. So we'll start by going to Ubuntu and looking at downloads and finding the desktop versus the server, um, the Internet of Things, or the cloud. There are various versions, but we want the desktop version. When you download, you notice in this case I happen to be downloading version 20.04, which at this time is the latest and greatest long-term support. When you go to save it in Linux, it'll by default want to save it in a downloads folder beneath my home directory. That's perfectly fine with me, and it thanks me for downloading it. You can see it there. It's an ISO image. Okay, so a lot of times these are on CD-ROMs. In this case, it's not. I pop in my USB. I've got a couple of external drives here, but this is the USB that I'm going to be installing everything on. And just looking at the overview, it talks about what you need to install or upgrade. In this case, it's suggesting on the requirements a 4 GB or larger USB stick. I've got that. The desktop 14.04 or later, we know we've got that. Even though it may suggest things like 18.04, that's the old version of the old latest version. Now we have a new one, and it says you need an Ubuntu ISO file, which we do have, so we're all set. Moving on, it suggests we launch the startup disk creator. All we have to do is go into Ubuntu software and type startup, and you'll see I've got an option right here, startup disk creator. So that's what I've got there. Now, see I've got the two drives. The one is a 3.0 or 3.6 terabytes. The other one is 58.9 gigabytes. So that's what I want to do, but I don't have the CD drive or the image. That's the ISO file that I'm looking for right there. So what I do is I got to select it. This is just the directions I'm following through along with. But I go and find the file by clicking on Other here, and I go into my home downloads folder and I find it. No problem there. And it says, do you want to write the disk image to the device? All existing data will be lost. I had already checked there was no existing data on there. I chose yes. Of course, it requires my password because I have to be in the administrative group in order to do this. If I'm not, I can't do it. And then it writes the disk image. And once it's complete, then I can use the disk image. Let's see how that works. Okay, we're going to restart this laptop that I've got here. It's typically either 2, F8, F12, something like that. And it's giving me a one-time boot menu here where I want to legacy boot the USB storage device. At that point, we can see it's going to be the Ubuntu. Checking the disk. I'm going to actually do Control-C to cancel the file checks. It's taking forever. And there it is. What I'm going to do right here is just try Ubuntu without making any changes to my computer, instead of installing it onto the hard drive. This is, of course, the new version 20.04 LTS. This stands for long-term support. That will be a question, that will be an answer on the final exam. Whether or not you know it is up to you.